it. This month and this last month have been kind of special. We're lucky to have the BYU Entrepreneurial College startups here presenting to us, which is awesome because we're able to see some of the cool things that are happening up on campus in our town and Provo. With that, we also added another element, which is the panel. And so this week we've got a pretty cool panel of local investors have seen deals or doing giving back to the startups and to the crowd. So this works 5-7 minutes of presentation by 10 to 15 minutes of question and answer from the panel and community. Now, cool new mic sponsored by Deseret first. So for a long time we didn't have the mic in the crowd, and so it was really cool to actually have Deseret be willing to make them cool. They also have the hashtag 1MC right there, so that's a reminder. Hashtag 1MC. Tweet out images, pictures, cool quotes you hear. You'll see that there's often another conversation being had on Twitter and some cool pictures of the group on Instagram. So before we get started, start recognition, kind of organizing all this.
So John Richard will start for me. But I want to also say today, before she introduces herself, Amy Anderson is one of Utah's, excuse me, premier women in entrepreneurship and a leader in entrepreneurship generally. She's built incredible companies and started her own seed fund, raised capital, and so it's awesome to have her here today. John Mayfield from Peak Ventures. Let them tell a little bit more about themselves, but it's incredible who we have here today. So.
It's all good. I'm Amy Anderson with Reese Capital, and I'm a CEO, entrepreneur, started a company and sold it a few years ago, and now I'm just angel investing and running charities as well, trying to help on companies.
John Mayfield from Peak Ventures. We're a local venture shop here in Provo. We back a lot of Provo-based companies and always looking for great companies, so forward to connecting with somebody.
To have you. Really excited to have the panel lucky. So let's have Bookroo come up and we'll let you guys have the mic.
Thank you. Hello everyone, we're glad to be here. We enjoy coming and listening to and presented in the past. And I actually have 2 little boys, so I'm not here every week, but I'm glad when I get the chance to come. When I had my first little boy, we were living in New York City, so a few years back. And before I had him, we had about 5 books in our little apartment. Books, that's plenty, right? For more than 1 book. And so those 5 books, he was probably sleeping most of the time through them, and my husband and I are the ones enjoying them. Anyway, so probably about when he was maybe a year and a half, my husband's like, we need to get some more books for this little boy. So I mean, in New York, we walk everyone everywhere. Occasionally, sometimes it's difficult to get in there. So I went to Amazon to find some new books for my little boy. Guys, it took me hours to find some books for my little boy. And this is one that I ordered off. Look at the size of that thing. It's kind of funny when I showed this to my husband, like, that's what you came up with off Amazon? Anyway, some of them have turned out to be some of our favorite books. You know, it wasn't bad. Amazon's a great place, just took way longer than it should have. So that's kind of a little backstory of the importance and the role that Bookroo has begun to play in my life in getting books for my boys. Awesome. Okay, so I'm Rebecca, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about Bookroo. It's a subscription box for children's books, and we are trying to help children learn to love reading, and we're also trying to help parents build their libraries and find new but great titles that they wouldn't have found otherwise. So this is just a picture of the Bookroo experience, and that's what we think Bookroo is. It's an experience for kids. They get to open a package of wrapped books and get excited about reading. So we send 2 boxes. We send a board book box, which has 3 books in it, and those are the harder books. So ages 0 to 3, and these are better for the babies because they can't totally tear them apart. And then we do a picture book box, which is 2 picture books. And it's $99 of that. So we try to make it really affordable for parents because we think that reading is really important and we want to make it accessible to them. And so all of our boxes are actually under the retail value. So you're buying you're paying for what you would buy on Amazon, basically. Was a soup mom, and as you can see from this cute little picture, that there's exciting for them. And just as I was saying, National Institute of Child, that reading is the important skill for reading. Here's our crew, 3 brothers, Kessler, Taylor's husband, I'm Chandler's wife. Sorry, Rebecca. I am Chandler's wife. Esther and Jane are here on the end. We really enjoy being able to do this together as a family. Okay, so as far as our progress goes, these are the numbers for our Facebook likes and our Instagram followers right now. So we've been working on that, and we've been posting a weekly blog on our Bookroo site. We've been trying to get traffic that way, and it's been the importance of reading, activities that you can do with your children, how grandmas can be great long distance grandparents for kids, and then we're also focusing on our product, and we're focusing on collaborating with Instagram. So our focus on right and through the thinking on. We want to develop a preschool program, and that's in the works right now. We want it to be ready so that we can push it in the fall when preschool starts. We want to be like the Scholastic for preschool. We're focusing on creating we've found them have worked super well, so we're still experimenting there. Like I said, we're connecting with influencers to get the word out. And we also started advertising on Facebook, doing paid advertising there. We decided that we need to tap into the grandparent market because that is a big thing. Grandparents love sending books to their kids, and grandparents are the ones who want smart grandkids. The moms might want them to be really cute, but grandparents know where it's at. And then another thing is that fulfillment is getting kind of crazy. We have to wrap a lot of books and package a lot of boxes. So we're going to try and get moms to wrap our books for us and outsource that a little bit to make it better for us. So now we'll open it up if you guys have any questions for us.
So, I missed this. You guys are selling for, sounds like under retail. What is your cost and margin and anything like that? Yes. There we go.
So we buy the books wholesale, and so we get
Here, you can do this.
I know.
I can just talk really loud.
Okay, is it working now? You'd like to. I think here, on this side of me.
Okay, this is weird.
We both want to see which was.
Yes, how much far?
Just go ahead and project. Okay, well, so we buy our books wholesale and get a discount on those. Thank you. So this is our profit margin. So it's 37% to 56%, and this kind of differs just by month because we get our books different prices, with just what's available and what we like and what's rated well. So we also rate our books through Stanford Families. We have the kids approve them and the parents approve them. So that's what our margins look like.
Sorry, I didn't see him come up here. How are you guys curating books? How are you finding the right titles?
So a couple of Kessler and Jane, our other brother and sister-in-law, live in California, and they're going to Stanford right now. So they do a lot of the preliminary research, and excuse me, and they have a lot of friends and families that are also going to Stanford out there. So they actually bring in samples to their home and then pass them around to these families. And so, like Rebecca said, the parents and the children read them, give them thumbs, give them thumbs down. We also all take a look. You know, I think would I want to read that to my child? And so that's kind of the process for that.
Just confirm it's a once a month. I get something
Yes.
once a month.
Once a month.
And then, how big is the team now? You showed the picture of the founders.
Yeah.
What does it look like?
Yeah, the 6 of us.
It's just the 6.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
So I wanted to understand, so on the books, am I purchasing the book or am I just getting it like a checkout for the month and then I have to return it because there's different types of programs? Which way is it?
So you're purchasing the book. So we brought some examples. This is the picture book box that we sent out this month, and then we have this board book box. So it's 3 for board and then 2 for picture, and you get to keep them. So that's one thing we wanted, is to help parents build their library.
And so if I was to buy those 5 books myself as a parent, what's the difference in what I'm paying you versus what I would get it for retail, do you think? Or what's the savings to me? Or is it more?
So the savings is really great. Picture books, when you buy them at the store, they're like $16, and board books range from like $7 to $9. So we're sending you 3 board books for under $20 and 2 picture books for under $20.
So how are you, do you have bulk pricing or something? And are you having to commit to a certain level of order in order to get that rate of pricing?
So we've been buying from wholesale distributors, and with our numbers going up, we've been able to start connecting with publishers directly. So as our numbers increase, we can connect with more publishers to get the discount that we need.
So I love what you're doing. I just want to say that, my kids are grown. One of them's right here who just got married and really did grandkid thing. This is a good idea. So, and I actually, I know, lots of pressure. But I actually think, one, I love what you said about going up to the grandparents, because I actually do think it's brilliant. I think that, a lot of the parents are young, struggling financially, and so to them, that kind of a commitment of $20 a month is actually a lot, right? But to the grandparents, it's like nothing. They'll do anything for their grandkids. So I think that's definitely a target to keep going after, and to look at creative ways to get in there. You might want to look at some of the Medicare advertising programs and see if you could sponsor some of the, because they have different health insurance things that go out with the Medicare members, and that might be a good way for you to piggyback onto something, or they'll put a little flyer in their mailers they do of some sort. I guess one of my biggest questions is, now with everything going digital, right? And I love a paper book for little kids. It's so fun to sit with a kid, but even with my nieces and nephews, I see them with their iPads, and they're doing it on the iPad, and now there's all the cool things it does when you touch the picture. How do you see that affecting your business? And have you thought through how to compete on that, or do you worry about that at all?
We don't really worry about that, because that's one of the reasons that we started Bookroo, is because, so I'm a human development major. I just graduated, and I've studied reading in early childhood, and it's so important. And there's something about electronics that just doesn't compare, and parents are worried about screen time.
And so books are a great alternative. I think a lot of parents want their kids to be reading more books, and we just believe that it's so important, and there are studies that say it's important, and so
But what about the book reading on the iPad?
on the
You know what
iPad.
I'm saying? Like they have the books you can download and read on iPad. And I'm with you, I actually like the paper for little kids. It's really fun to have that experience, but I do think that's something you're gonna have to find ways to promote it. You know, maybe find studies that have been done that show it's better not doing it on the iPad or something for little kids or whatever you can get data-wise to back that up to use in marketing, I think is a good thing. How many clients have you signed up so far?
So we didn't really feel ready to disclose that on stage to everyone, but I can talk with you personally after. And here's a chart of our growth, which we're proud of. And yeah.
And is that all coming mostly from word of mouth advertising or is it coming from your Facebook and Instagram?
Facebook and Insta.
So that's a good chart. I'd like to know those numbers too, so you can share it with me afterwards. But what other traction metrics can you share then? So usually, you know, like how's the traffic to your site, like, and how many register as a user on your site? I imagine that's a process, right, that they can do? Or do they have to become a customer to register? Are you collecting their email addresses when they find you on Google or whatever?
Yeah, that's a great question. We also have when they come to our site, we do have a pop-up that they can put their email in for a discount, or we have a free ebook that we give away. So we are collecting emails that way. We've done, sorry, this is not what I was looking for.
And are you using Infusionsoft or HubSpot or something, or I don't know if to do your email campaigns, to collect the emails? Are you doing good digital marketing, I guess, is my
Yes,
question?
so our brother-in-law in California is a computer science major. So he, I believe, anyway, we'll get back to you on some, what they're called. I
That's
don't know
okay.
all the time.
So what other, so users, and then how, and those are the number of customers, you don't want to share those with. So it's a subscription model and you're getting subscribers that are paying you recurring and they have to cancel their credit card or the
Yes.
order. So you sign them up once and they just keep going, like Netflix.
So we have different amounts of time. So we have a 1 month, a 3 month, a 6 month, a 12 month. They sign up for, those 3 months, depending on how.
So we don't just do month to month and just. Yeah, this sign for. Yeah, but I'm just saying, if I sign up for 3 months, then you got to sell me again. But if I sign up I would sign up and subscribe and just pay you until I cancel.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I've ran a company like Netflix before, and that model is really powerful because you sell them once and a tenth of your customers will even forget about it. And even though they want to cancel, they forget and they just keep paying you.
Great.
Yeah, so the 3 month, I'm just saying, I don't like the termination built into your subscription model.
It does auto renew, except for gifts. Gifts will auto renew, just because the gift giver, we're just not sure about that, but all the subscriptions.
Right now, if you did it, I just want to order this once as a gift, and then it would go for 5 years before I ever thought about it again.
That would be great. We'll do that.
You should do that.
One more question. I know you're early on customer acquisition, but how is your churn been so far?
It's difficult to figure out with the gifts and the mommy bloggers and stuff, because we're all great joys as our platform. But we've out, and right now it's at like 7%. We just had our big drop for this subscription renewal, just barely, so it's a little higher, but we're happy when it's in between like 4 and 7.
Yeah, that's really good for consumers.
So last thing before the crowd, we gotta get.
Real quick question, did you say you're just targeting preschool age though? And if so, why not target a broader age range? Because kids love that box in the mail as much as they love the book, right? So why not target?
Yeah, that's a great question. So right now we do 0 to 6. So up to 6 years old is what picture books usually do. And we've had a lot of people interested in, those years after that. So we have considered, we're just still starting with these. So I think we'd like to break into that.
So last feedback before I got on the microphone is just as I'll give
feedback as an investor pitch feedback, okay? So, because we're trying to do investor pitches here, and I think you've got an even stronger story than that's coming across. And with some practice and some coaching on how to put your presentation deck together and make your pitch, you could be really powerful in front of investors. So you've got the makings here of something that could really pull at the heartstrings, but also show good, customer acquisition costs and lifetime value. And this could be really something if you went for it.
Thank you so much.
Well, and the data you're collecting is actually super valuable to one of our clients.
Thank you.
Awesome. Let's open up to the crowd.
Yeah.
All right, lots of questions. I'll start up front. Sorry, gentlemen. In the back, sit up front next time.
These are amazing numbers. I've done some number crunching with how many people are searching for children's subscription boxes. I mean, you're getting well over in the millions of consumers looking for services like yours. So that's an SEO issue. But what is the difference between a book subscription box service for kids, toddlers or babies, versus a book club for babies? I'm a little confused on that because.
That's a good question.
Are you guys in that market of club, or do you not like that word?
So I think that on Google, we have made that a search optimization for us, for book club, to have our site come up. We haven't really marketed it as a book club. We've done the subscription, I think just with that being the trend, but maybe that's something that we should look into. Thanks.
next question.
Two quick questions. One is, how much information are you getting about the children so that grandparents, a new grandparent like me, you don't get double and triple subscriptions to one child? Second question is, do you have a progression, or do you just choose 2 levels of books that go out on a regular basis?
Okay, so I remember the second question, but for the second question, we've just done the 2 levels right now. I started with, my husband wanted it for himself too, so we want to grow and go into that space, but we just started with children's books because it's easier to pick with taste. So, and what was your first question?
First one was just subscriptions to make sure you're not getting double or triple from grandparents.
Like there's 2 sets of grandparents who's asking you to make sure you don't go.
Gotcha. We haven't had that problem yet.
Do you have a mechanism to make sure that you don't get it?
Well, she should do that.
Customer satisfaction.
I
play against each other.
see you can do the longest subscription.
The other one's got the premium subscription.
Yeah. We haven't, but
Say the other grandparents pay more than you.
Yeah.
Really love you more.
that could be a good option. There's a question in the back.
So yeah, you were talking about that it's wrapped. Is that like an experience? Just elaborate a bit on it.
Oh, yes. So when we first started, we wanted to, how is the best way to package the books? What would get them there in good condition? And we just decided that wrapping would be really fun, and also would keep them, protected. So yes, we individually wrap them. We're working with wrapping paper companies who, give us this really cute wrapping paper, and so it's just really exciting for the kids to open that up, and it's a gift-like experience for them. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, thank you. What is the gift experience like on behalf of the kid when he or she opens it? Like when it's a gift versus the parent buying it, is there a difference there? Do you have like something personalized for the grandparents so that it makes it special for them, also for the kid?
That's a great question. What we do each month, we write a special message to the kids. This one says "Hooray for summer reading," but a lot of times if parents or grandparents, if they gift it to their grandchildren, then we'll write a special message from the grandparent on there. Some grandparents have also ordered themselves a box so that if they're far away, they can read the book with their grandchild who's in a different place. So that's another option. We've thought about doing like a grandparent kind of deal, kind of 2 for a deal so that they can have one and their grandchild can have one to make it a special experience?
My wife is a published children's book author, so I kind of know the margins. And with those kind of prices, are those books typically ones that have been published several years, or are they new releases?
They're not really new releases. We try and find the hidden gems that parents won't have, so they don't get duplicates. So they might be a few years old, but not super old. They're still pretty new because they've never been used. They're still new books.
I think you've got a great marketing strategy. I like the idea that you're going after this group, that you're going after grandparents and the young children. And I think it will naturally progress and you'll develop and evolve. But I like your concentration on that market, and it's a good one. And I think that with the second wave of the baby boomers, baby boom kids, it's going to be good. So I think you're on the right track.
Thank you.
All right, guys, last question, sorry. We'll save it up for the next one. Great presentation. We'd love to hear kind of, I guess there's two questions. We'd love to hear kind of what publishers you'd like to work with, like who your ideal, your dream world publishers to connect with, and what you would do if you talk to them, like what would you want from them. And then the last question is, what can 1 Million Cups, what can our community do for you?
Dream publishers. That's a good question. I don't know if I've dreamed up much yet. I'll probably say all of them. That's the real dreams. We have worked a little bit with Scholastic, and they've reached out to us. So that's always exciting when they're reaching out to us. I think that's a fun one.
Do you know who are the publishing groups you want to talk with? Like who is the target that you're trying to go after?
I don't know that we've put any on our list, but I think that's a good idea. I think I have a lot of books that come from Random House, and I think some of those big ones would be really fun.
Do you keep stats on like maybe what books are most liked, or customer feedback from the box so they can understand how the books are? Because one of the issues publishers face, they don't have many audience insights. Most of those insights go to Amazon or their friend, right? And so any insights you can garner from publishers is going to help them want to do more with you.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
And last question, what can 1 Million Cups do for you?
So the biggest thing you guys could do for us is to tell your wives and your moms and the grandmas in your lives. And also, if you could follow us on Facebook and Instagram. So Bookroo for Facebook and Bookroo_love on Instagram. Or share something about us. That would be great. Thank you, guys.
Awesome, thank you. Great presentation. While the next group is getting ready to present, we're going to have an announcement by the Utah Science Technology Research Group. They do the riot over at the Resource Center over at UVU. So here's a quick announcement.
So I'm Peter J. with USTAR. I know a few of you in here. I just wanted to announce we have an Internet of Things event this Friday, June 24th. It's an all-day event. It's being put on by a BYU professor, Phil Windley, and some private industry Internet of Things business owners locally. We have a few companies already successful in Internet of Things. It's going to be the Internet of Things is expected to be a multi-trillion-dollar industry over the next 5 years. There's still a lot of opportunity there. I just went to the Smart Cities Conference in Austin last week and saw a lot of new products that are being developed around the world, and there's still lots and lots of opportunity to develop new products and develop smart technologies. So if you're interested in the Internet of Things, this will be a great event to attend this Friday. It starts at 9 o'clock. The address it's over at the old Utah County Courthouse. on the corner of University and Center in Provo, Utah. So if you're interested in the Internet of Things, whether you're an entrepreneur or engineer, come to this event, and you're going to meet a lot of the local community for Internet of Things, even successful business owners already in the industry, and find out some opportunities that you could develop some products or get resources to develop products in this industry.
USTAR does a lot of really cool things, and they're helping kind of connect the public and private worlds together. And so, any opportunity you can, you'll meet cool people when you go to any of their events. All right. So, how are we feeling, guys? Is that a pretty solid presentation to get things started? That's pretty awesome. We've got an awesome panel, great feedback, great questions. Next up, we've got Plato. That looks like fun. So I'm gonna let them explain who they are. But come on up.
My name is Curtis Brown. I'm with Plato AI. And we're automating quality assurance in call centers. So right now, call centers, they hire a team of employees internally to go through and measure quality on their phone calls. And their job is to listen to recordings and then score them on a preset series of criteria and categories. Then they take those that feedback and then they improve their performance. As they're only listening to about that come through their call centers. So that's pretty true. So they're all in compliance, listening to 2% of their calls. And then these performance reviews, since they're using such a small sample size, they're also seen as kind of a negative experience by their employees. So on top of being really inefficient, they're also really inefficient, really expensive, but they're still paying for it because it's important to them. So our solution is an AI platform that monitors 100% of the phone calls in a call center for the same criteria and with the same accuracy that the humans are. So with that, companies are getting real-time feedback on every single call. It lets them track trends as they're happening instead of 4 to 6 months down the road. It lets them flag any call that's out of compliance immediately instead of having to wait 6 months to a year, maybe getting hit with a lawsuit on it. On top of that, it brings accountability back to their employees because they know they're being monitored on every phone call. Something interesting that we also ran into while talking to call centers is that the more regular feedback that their agents are getting, the lower their attrition rate is as well. So it's hard to get more regular feedback than real time with our platform. To touch a little bit on where the product is right now, we've partnered with a company called Cobalt Speech and Language. It's a company that was started by the engineers who built Amazon Echo and Dragon Naturally Speaking, so they're experts in speech and language fields. And with their help, we put together a really simple prototype just to kind of make sure that we can actually build this thing. We didn't do any custom work on it or anything like that. We used actual phone calls from beta customers, and we were scoring it for 3 features that they're actually scoring in real life with their people right now. We weren't expecting great accuracy. We just wanted to kind of benchmark things. But we ended up surprising ourselves and getting 70 to 80% accuracy on those 3 features. And we identified 2 or 3 ways where we can increase that to near perfect accuracy on those 3 features, which we think can also translate to other categories as well. And we've recognized a few places where we can use more sophisticated algorithms to tackle some of the more challenging problems. So again, I'm Curtis. I'm studying at BYU, studying computer science and entrepreneurship. I saw this problem while I was working in a call center. My pay was tied to the quality of my phone calls, and I got frustrated that they were only listening to a couple of them every month. I felt like they should listen to more than that so they could see the value that I bring in the company. And I noticed the same problem with my coworkers. They had the same issue as well. And as I dug a little bit more into it, it seems to be an industry-wide problem with most call centers. My co-founder and CTO is Alan Battalion. He has a lot of experience developing enterprise software. He was a senior director of software development at Overstock and then worked on their networking and architecture architecture teams as well. And we've got great advisors who are well connected to call centers like Convergys, Teleperformance Teltech. And then Jeff Adams is the CEO of Cobalt Speech and Language. He actually ran the teams at Amazon and at Nuance, and he's been a great asset for us as well. So the market's pretty big. We're looking at about 17.5 million seats globally, and it's growing by around 10% a year. In the US, we're looking at in-house call centers where there are about 3.2 million seats. And for us, that's worth about $2 billion in revenue. And to kind of wrap things up, I want to go over some of the early traction that we've seen. Before product, before prototype, just going out and talking to customers, trying to get their feedback and validating the problem a little bit more. Companies started asking us, how can we help you do this? We want to use this. How do we start beta testing this thing? So we have between 4,000 and 5,000 seats wanting to beta test the software right now. On top of that, one of these companies has a software business that sells to call centers, and they've approached us about being a channel partner, which will give us access to another 17,000 seats. And so these guys aren't just saying, hey, we want to beta test this, we want to use it. They're actually backing it up and providing us data to actually build, train, and test the system right now. So we have thousands and thousands of scored calls to do that with. But yeah, we're kind of excited of where we can go with this. Thanks for your time. We can do questions now.
So what was the name? Cobalt? They're kind of the natural language processing engine behind it.
Yeah.
You guys are building a layer on top, kind of an interface. Is that right?
So they're doing a lot of the work for us, but it's going to be on our servers. We're going to own all that tech.
Who else is in the space?
So there's speech analytics, which has been around for a little while. Pretty much any call center workforce optimization software has one of those modules, but you have to use their platform to use that. And so there are several of those companies out there. There's one or two companies that we run into who are trying to do the auto scoring. Call Miners one, for instance. That's kind of the first step for us to build out a platform that can automate the feedback and training as well.
So tell us about these customers and building a sales force, or I don't know what that is.
It's going to be a direct sales kind of thing, especially depending on what level of enterprise we go to. We still haven't identified the perfect target customer yet, but probably the predictable revenue.
And what's the level of pricing these organizations are willing to pay?
Yeah, so
is it a $50 seat?
So that's probably the high end of where we'll be. If we follow the per seat model on it, we've been looking at that recently. Maybe we'll do tiered pricing. But first conversations while I was out validating it, I started asking them what's the most they pay for it. And it's between 30 and 50 bucks a seat per month. That's because they're used to paying per seat. I feel like we could probably charge more than that if we did more value-based pricing, talking about the automation and replacement of employees and then the value that we could bring with our analytics. Yeah.
So I want to make sure I'm understanding. Are you guys you haven't actually gone to market, or the product's not released or anything like that yet, or?
We're working on our demos and betas right now. So we have the prototype, and we're working through the final paperwork with that so we can to finalize our partnership with Cobalt. Once we have that in place, it's just like we can start implementing.
Okay, so with my company, MediConnect Global, before we sold it, we had almost 2,000 people, and we had a ton of people on the phones, right, calling medical and hospitals. And so we are this is a space we're super familiar with because we use these types of tools. But some of the concerns, I guess, that I'll bring up to you that I think you need to be aware of is a lot of times it means integrating into a phone system. These companies that are going to be your clients, they already have big PBX systems that you have to be able to integrate to, otherwise the software doesn't tie in for them. Okay, so that's one area. The other thing is it has to tie to their customer service software that tracks, because they don't want to have it in two separate systems. You have to be able to feed it or pull theirs into yours. So there's some integrations I think you're going to have to really price out carefully that you're going to have to do for it to be able to have the bigger customers. The other thing that is a big deterrent to companies, and the reason why they only do a percentage of the calls, is because the cost of storing all the audio files is significant.
Yeah.
So for us to store every single opposed to monitoring every single call. So it's definitely a space where there's competitors for sure, but it's still a space that has room for someone to come in and disrupt by doing it better and easier and all these different things. But I think those are some of the things you're going to have to really look at to be able to land some of these customers is what are the integrations you're going to have to do, what's the cost of those, and the larger clients, like we would never have paid 30 to 50 a seat, but we were huge, right? So I think you're going to have to really look at what is your target. Are you going to have the small guys or the bigger guys? The small guys are easier to land initially for you, just because there'll be far less integrations to do. But the dollars are also different too. So those are some.
Yeah, which things. Typically, we're looking at 200, 300 seat call centers. Some are a little smaller than that, some are a little bigger than that. But that's where we were getting those numbers from. And as far as the PBX systems, we've started out looking at most of the cloud-based solutions. But I understand that a lot of the larger companies, they're going to have custom systems built for themselves.
And I think one last comment, because the differentiator for you could be that if you could build your interface such that they can have some user settings, they can go in and decide what are the terms they want to track, what are the words they're looking for, so that they're not having to call in the things that if we looked at it on, it's something we as a user could decide as a company, this now matters to us, this, these phrases matter and so forth. So those types of tools I think would help you differentiate.
Cool. Thanks. So what percentage complete then, code complete to having a version that you could get $1 from a customer so that you can actually charge them?
I guess it depends on how bare bones we could possibly do it. Like if we really wanted to, like maybe a week's worth of work, could get it set up where they could send it through us through maybe command line or something. We're working on our interface right now. It's keeping it really simple where they can just upload some calls to us.
So like, are you 50% done on your code for getting a product you can charge for, or 85%? Where are you at? What you say?
It's hard to say right now. So we haven't started coding Portal at all, but the backend system is essentially there already.
And so about your validation of your business model. So how much, so you said you haven't identified the target customer, which concerns me a little bit. So who did you go interview and find out what they want, and whether your hypothesis for business model is going to work? I mean,
just whatever that business needs. But out of those, I had over a 50% response rate. I was able to sit down and actually interview those companies. So the companies like Vivint, Ancestry, doTERRA, and then also smaller companies like Slingshot or
So what's the biggest pivot or change you made from those interviews to what you thought you were going to do?
Well, those first interviews were just discovery, like, hey, is this an issue for you guys? And then over time,
Hey, what you're doing today is say, buy it.
Oh, we already have 10 that are saying that.
Okay, that's how many do you have that are in that case?
It's 10. Yeah.
About 10. I'm a good guesser then. All right, good job.
Thanks, guys. I'll go to the crowd. Well, this is fascinating to me. Is I did AI in graduate school. That was 20 years ago, so things have progressed quite a bit since then. But my question is, one, how old does the software do? Because a negative, and then two, how are you paying for everything?
Sarcasm is obviously a hard thing, but sarcastic talk going on in a call center was supposed to be a more professional environment. But that being said, we do need to measure for that. It's a difficult thing. We're still looking at some of those more challenging problems. As far as paying for it, we've been lucky enough for the guys we partnered with take an equity stake money, and then our CTO is also just building up the framework for us.
Do you know a guy named Ed Ledick? Is he one of the guys you've talked to?
I spoke with him.
Okay. Because if you didn't have an introduction to him. And Ron Lindorf, I'm assuming you probably know him, because those are two good contacts to have in that industry. Okay, thanks.
Thanks.
So I did quality supervising at a call center called Western Watt. And one of the things I noticed, I could give an employee a paper and just say, here's what you did, and they could go through and they wouldn't improve. So what are you implementing in the program to verify that the dialer, the caller is actually receiving the feedback and engaging, so they're actually improving and coaching? That's a huge part of that process.
Yeah, so our first step on it is to see the scoring down. And how they're working right now with most call centers, they're doing personal feedback and training. So they'll take that and do one-on-one sit-downs with them. Hopefully we'll be able to get built into it, just a portal where they can come in and see how they're doing or tie in with the company's whatever platform they're using to the PBX. But right now it's one-on-one feedback. So hopefully we'll be able to track that in the future. We're still learning a lot about that right now.
Then you still would technically have to have a quality person go.
Yeah, so right now we're trying to eliminate that inefficiency with the scoring because that takes up a lot of time. And then their time would be mostly spent just one-on-one until we could build in that.
So you would be eliminating the quality team to ensure you have like 10 quality supervisors.
So that's, yeah, that would be like step one. Step two is then working with them to figure out the best way to get that feedback.
Yeah, so a software that does quality assurance for call centers is, to me, one of the most boring things I can imagine. So that's probably why it's going to make money. But what if you can talk maybe about your story, like your team, how you got from like call center employee to being a founder of an AI company, just sort of that journey.
Basically, I was working in a call center and my pay was tied to the quality of our calls. So most of the time I'd get a little bonus, but occasionally they wouldn't pay that bonus out. That frustrated me a little bit, so I go and dig into it. Turns out they only listened to a couple of calls, and one of those calls wasn't up to normal standards. So for me, I was just like, well, just listen to more calls, and you'll be able to see that. And so from there, it kind of just stuck in my head because they wouldn't listen to more calls. And then a friend of mine ran a call center at a startup, and I talked to him about it. He had the same issue. And so from there, I just started talking to more and more call centers, and then kind of dug into the tech side of it, and that's kind of where we are now.
When you have those interviews with those ROI, those call centers, I have a client and a web designer that's doing website development for a call center right now. And Han Butler, I don't know if you talked to ROI call center in Linden. It's somebody I could talk to you later on. What are you doing right now on this big lawsuit that's slamming Utah ROI call centers for in the millions of dollars for the do not call? Are you helping them solve their problem? I'm sure they probably talking to you about that.
So there's already stuff out there that should like monitor do not call lists. Ours is mostly internal compliance.
Can I answer? Sometimes a minute of silence brings up some questions, so I don't hesitate to let it percolate. That's my thing.
So I was talking to someone, maybe you already answered this, but how do you determine scoring? So how do you determine like the accuracy or how good a conversation is?
Yeah, they're already doing that. We take their existing scorecards, and over time we might be able to help them find better scoring metrics because quality scoring is kind of ambiguous sometimes.
Right.
So, but they have a scorecard of metrics that they're already grading for. We take that and then pre-scored calls, and then we use those to fill out.
So is it just based off phrases like a compliment or like a specific like noun adjective, like they just like fill in the blank?
So that would be like the simpler version of it. There's harder stuff that requires like industry knowledge. We have to build out a corpus of information and query that stuff. So, but yeah, that's like step one on it.
All right, two questions. One, if you could have anything you wanted right now for your business, what would it be? And then the last one I'll ask after you answer that question.
Well, I think it's the same answer to both of them.
Okay. Last question, what can we do as a William County community for you?
We're looking for specific skill sets in the team member. Someone with experience with speech recognition, so ASR, automatic speech recognition, machine learning and then natural language processing, some combination of those things. Be extremely helpful for us right now.
Awesome, thanks.
Thank you.
Guys, very awesome. Thank you to the panel so much for coming. We appreciate you guys. Your feedback, it's invaluable to all the startups that come. Guys, appreciate all of you guys coming. Next, so you know, in the queue, we've got a few more startups from BYU, as well as some local entrepreneurs who will be talking about some of the things that they've done. And then for the month of July, we've got sponsorship for breakfast. So we're potentially bringing bacon back. So that's big news. Oh yeah, what? So guys, have an awesome week. Thank you for coming. You're released. Have fun. See you.